This is a 1967 Ford Mustang in Clearwater Aqua. Oh, baby. There are cars and there are icons! The Ford Mustang is a cultural icon. 1967 represented the first redesign for the Mustang. They enlarged the grille opening. They included non-functional side scoops with inlets that matched the paint. In 67, the Mustang hit the gym. It was beefed up, aggressive, a lot like Mike Tyson when he got out of prison in 95. The wheelbase was held at 108 inches, but the overall width increased by 2.7 inches, including a half-inch height increase. The side sculpting was more defined. The individual concave tail lamps made a statement. I'm sexy and you know it. Lee Iacocca, Mr. Sales and Cigars, known as the father of the Mustang, once said, "We don't claim the Mustang can be all things to all people, but we do believe it will be more things to more people than any other automobile on the road." He was right. This car smells like freedom. A Holley 4-barrel Street Avenger carburetor sits atop a 5.0-liter 302 engine producing 300 horsepower and 336 foot-pounds of torque. All that beef is backed up by a 3-speed C4 transmission with an 8-inch rear end and front disc brakes. It's made for hitting the open road. There is no air conditioning, no airbags, no computers, no power steering. You cannot text and drive in this car. You will crash. The seat belts are basically cloth straps with the appearance of safety, but at least there's a light that tells you to buckle up. The gas tank sits right in your trunk. It's safe though, right? There are turn signal lights in the hood in case you forget which way you are turning. You get one side mirror, not two. Nobody cares about the passenger side. For amenities, you get an ashtray, because smoking was still good for you in the 1960s and because the car also smokes. I am sorry, Prius owners.
What's the matter with you? You gotta make that much pollution?
Nothing about this car is quiet. The doors are loud, the exhaust is loud. It sounds like Mufasa clearing his throat. Simba! My son works? Where's Akeem? The gauges are approximate, not accurate. You have no clue how fast you are going or how much gas you really have. From the throaty roar of the engine to the clean design, this car is known for its simplicity, raw talent, and a little bit of rebellion. That's why I selected it for my guest today, Mr. Eric Benet, 4-time Grammy nominee. Eric has stayed true to himself. He looks good past the age of 50. He has great hair and an okay singing voice. Anyways.
When I realized the power that I yielded.
I'm David Carter, and this is Conscious. Yeah, is this Eric?
It is. Who's this?
This is David, man.
Oh, what's going on, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. Are you ready to hear my demo?
I do not want to hear that, but we talked about going to get some coffee. Is that all right?
Man, come on now. I'm trying to play this demo for you. Okay, you want to get some coffee?
Yeah, as long as I got to listen to no demo, man, we good.
Can't make any promises. All right, and I'll come pick you up.
All right.
Later.
Hey, what's up, man?
Eric Benet.
Look at this.
Eric Benet. Hey, man, I showed up just for you.
You trying to make me feel comfortable?
Yeah, I'm trying to make you feel comfortable. I have no pedicure going for me.
Yeah, and I
actually
figured, smelled them from way back there.
Exactly. So this is my barefoot, you know, just kind of showing up. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
You good?
I'm good. Yeah. What are we gonna do? Look at this vehicle you got,
you
man.
know, I brought something that I think suits you.
This is nice.
You know, it's still classic.
It's very.
Still edgy,
from
somewhat.
The 60s?
From the
classic,
60s.
Like me.
Like you.
See, look, I see what you did
just like
there.
you.
So no, where's the GPS?
You don't have any of that.
Where's the Bluetooth?
You've got your alternator and oil pressure.
Where's the battery charger? Where's my USB? What the hell? I can't ride in this car.
You want something fancy? I'm gonna give you two things.
What?
First thing I'm gonna do is the best part of the car. That's probably the best part. Did you see that? See that seatbelt light?
Seatbelt light.
It lets you know to put your seatbelt on.
Look at that.
That's technology for you.
Look at technology.
That is technology.
All right, man, let's go get some tea.
Let's grab some coffee, man. Coffee. I'm gonna put something out there, and you just tell me. You can send it right back if you don't like it. I'm gonna say that you probably love auto-tune, right?
Auto-tune is a cancer. to the craft of singing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Being true to yourself.
hello.
Be true to maybe you've heard of something called be true to myself. Maybe that was something for you at one time, but
yeah, that's important.
why first of all, come out with an album that focuses on that? Let me ask that question. But two, how did you do that when it seems to me that the industry tries to package you and make you something else anyways, because that's what's in the movie, but you stayed true to yourself.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
So for those out there in the looking at this on your phone or your TV or whatever, my first solo album was I called it True to Myself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason for that is I really wanted to make a statement, and it was a statement from learning. My first introduction to Los Angeles and the whole recording industry was when my sister and I were signed to EMI Records. We went from performing in those top 40 bands I described a little while ago and working on our demos to actually getting a record deal.
Oh, wow.
Which was, pretty incredible.
So you had a record deal before you were solo?
I had a record deal before I was solo with my
amazing
sister Lisa.
Yeah.
And that was an invaluable learning experience. Needless to say, after our EMI album didn't go well, we were dropped.
Yeah.
Went back to Milwaukee, got a couple jobs. I was working at UPS. I was an assistant engineer at a recording studio, and by this time I was a new father.
Now hold on. How did you do that? Because that's a piece that I think people miss a lot of times.
Yeah.
You went from this highest of high, record deal, stuff's moving, and you go back to working at UPS and punching a clock.
Well, you know what? It's good. It's good for the soul, man.
Is it?
It is.
But not for the paycheck.
Not for the paycheck. Not for the paycheck. The ups and the downs of life. I don't let the ups get me too up, and I don't let the downs get me too down. And I think, situations like that crafted that part of my persona. Like don't ever get too proud of yourself, but always keep working. Mm-hmm. Always keep doing honest work. Always be working on your craft and working on your passion. If music doesn't really resonate with me, I don't want to record it. I might want to be in the club at like those rare occasions, not so much anymore, being like 52, bro. The 52-year-old dude in the club is kind of pathetic.
Kinda. Yeah, kinda. You see him every time,
You see him, he be up in there though.
He's two-stepping.
Doing the bottom lip bite.
Right, yeah, something with that. Yeah, bite that bottom lip.
Biting that bottom lip, looking at that young thing over there.
And this is...
my last album was a self-titled record called Eric Benet.
Right, but you're coming up on number 8, right?
Yeah, it was number 8. You can listen to that album, and then you can listen to the first one. Okay.
So you put your hands in a little bit of everything with that. You're not just singing. You're involved in the production process. You're, touching the instruments. You're involved in all of that.
Yeah.
You think that makes you a true artist?
My mama did.
On the materialism side, you've stayed away from that, and you haven't been consumed by it. I don't think you have 10 Lamborghinis, but if you do, hey, but
no, I have 9.
You only got 9. That's
There's
cool.
a limit to everything.
That's cool. Yeah, you got.
So I think LA gets a bad rap. But one of the things that I discovered when I first came to LA,
Black Zorro.
After Black Zorro and I had lunch with Black Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
I think as much as there are the people out there who would, stab their best friend in the back to get a extra spot on Empire.
Sure.
There's probably 2 or 3 people that are dope human beings with a higher consciousness of of existing. And I've met a lot of people like that in LA.
It's funny you mentioned that because, you know, that was part of the draw for me to California. So, you know, Claremont Lincoln University, socially conscious education, that's what they focus on. Well, the founder of Claremont Lincoln University is David Lincoln.
Break it down. Tell me about Mr. Lincoln.
Very successful man. When I met him, what stood out to me was here was a man of great means and substance. But yet he didn't care about material things at all. What he cared about was advancing society forward. Woo. So it was nothing to see him, you know, wearing some old suit that didn't fit anymore, or filling up water bottles, or, you know, just driving an older car or things like that. But where he put his money and where he invested, particularly, was in education.
Beautiful.
And ensuring that the next generation was better off than the current generation, you know. And so he really focused on education and moving society forward. That stood out to me.
Beautiful.
And that was a big draw for me to come here, because I hadn't met a whole lot of people like that before. So, you know, when I met him, I said, wow, this is an amazing guy. And it sounds like you had a similar experience. You want to get some coffee or something? You drink coffee?
I had to give up coffee because my stomach protested.
I'm going to let you out right here. No,
Okay.
I'm kidding. All right, we're gonna pull up, man, and we'll, this is Revved Up, Coffee and Classics. How's that tea?
This is some pretty
Be
damn
honest
good.
with me.
No, this is some pretty damn good matcha tea.
Okay,
they
be
have,
honest with me.
They have lavender matcha, and they had vanilla. I opted for vanilla.
That was a commercial. You guys,
Yes.
you heard that? That was a
Right.
commercial right there. This is what I opted for. When I opt for something,
I go to Revved Up.
I go to
I get
Revved
my
Up.
damn matcha tea.
Oh, that's good stuff. I heard you were at a party, maybe Quincy Jones' house.
Yeah.
You came across another Carter named Sean.
Ah.
You guys cool? You guys cool? You don't want me to bring that up? Don't end the interview.
It's cool.
Don't end the interview.
No,
you guys
it's
good?
Cool. It was very, very cool. I think you are alluding to the Never Go Eric Benet line.
Maybe
and
he said something like that.
Maybe he said
on
something
that
like
album.
that.
Mhm.
Shortly after all the hoopla
Yeah.
of the Never Go Eric Benet line, in walks Jay-Z.
Yeah, Sean Carter. I heard of him.
Sean Carter.
Yeah,
So at this point, people who hadn't thought of the name Eric Benet in probably the last 10 years were like making all kind of comments on any given BuzzFeed, gossip, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And talking about the line and also at this point, I had just gotten back from Cuba, and there were all these stories about how I was just enraged, and I was actually in Havana, and there was a story about how I was at Jay-Z's door screaming at him saying, "Come out here!" It was all this hoopla about
The
this.
media does that.
The
though,
media
right?
does that, which
Yeah.
I heard the line, and my reaction was this.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. And then it just rolled off my back. I didn't, really think about it anymore, but people made a lot out of it. But
Right.
So in walks Jay-Z,
Right.
and he sees me immediately because I'm kind of blocking the doorway, and he starts to smile because he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh man." So he comes over to me, and he's kind of laughing, kind of
Yeah.
sheepishly, like, "All right, hey, what's
Yeah.
up, man?"
Right.
And basically, I don't know. Audrey, my sister, probably ain't gonna like this, but I
Yeah.
looked at him and I said, "This
I've heard his album, so I get it.
And
I
then
get
we
it.
both started laughing even harder, and it's like,
Yeah.
one of those,
Like we're good.
man, it's
We're good.
We were never not good to begin with. That's the whole point.
How important have role models been to you, and what would you say about that today? Because you're still a role model, whether you want to be or not.
Well, thank you for that. At the risk of sounding corny again, like my biggest role models have been like my family, like my mom and dad. Like,
Now somebody would say, did they discipline you? But did they whoop you? Is that where they came from?
They whooped our asses.
Yeah, that's what's
They
needed,
did.
right? Okay.
You know, so they did. Hey,
Speak on it. Talk about this mission Save Her, is that what it's
Yeah.
called? I mean, you've gotten involved in that effort.
Yeah.
Why even do that? You don't have to. What
I
pulled
think-
you into that?
I mean, I think it's anybody who's remotely conscious. I think it's your duty to just use your voice, use whatever power that you have to speak out and to combat against evil and ignorance. Mission Saver is a nonprofit started by my good friend Reggie Benjamin and I. And it started from Reggie's fans from India reaching out to him and asking him to do something to help with the horrible statistics of how women are raped and murdered and human trafficking and just the atrocities that are happening, not only in India, but all over the world.
So, what is human trafficking? Human trafficking is really the exploitation of a person. It comes in lots of different forms. We can talk about international trafficking, we can talk about domestic trafficking.
My name is Jessa, and I'm a survivor of human trafficking. So when I was a little girl, my family was part of a group of people that severely sexually abused me, and that sexual abuse turned into me posing for pornographers and doing sex acts for the cameras and being raped in front of the cameras. And then that turned into me being sold to different pimps, and then me being sold to friends, and those friends doing whatever they wanted to do.
And so there are different tactics that human traffickers use. So we're looking for elements of force, fraud, or coercion in human trafficking cases. And we're generally looking at least 3 parties that are involved in this crime. So you have the seller or the trafficker, you have the buyer, and you have the person who's being sold. So those are the 3 parties that are generally involved in a human trafficking case. But we're definitely looking for elements of force, fraud, and coercion.
When I was 21, a lady approached me and she gave me a piece of paper. And on that piece of paper was her name and her contact information, and she said that if I ever wanted to talk to her on the phone, if I ever wanted help, she would be there. In my mind, having to redefine what was happening to me, realizing that this was wrong, realizing this is not normal, realizing that this is not okay. And then it was the courage for me to say, this stops, and this stops now.
Because the statistics are all over the world are just heart-wrenching.
It's a global problem.
It's a global.
Trafficking.
There's more slavery today than there was ever in history.
That's right.
Sex trafficking, violence against women, women having no rights, women being murdered, honor killings, and crazy, crazy shit, man. The statistics will make you cry and
It's
motivate
alarming.
you to do something.
Work here, sir. Here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an artist by the name of, I think it's Eric Benet.
You are hilarious.
Do you guys sell? That's what I'm looking for, Eric
You
Benet.
got jokes.
I'm trying to find Eric Benet. You guys gotta have something on this guy.
Watch
Have
out.
you
Watch
you
out.
heard of Eric Benet?
Watch how humiliating this is
You've heard
going
of
to be.
that guy. Yeah. Yeah. He's pretty popular. He's like a sex symbol. You know?
He's extremely attractive.
Extremely, yeah, right.
He's an extremely attractive
Very attractive
young
guy,
man.
You know? Of course.
This is a funny, the cover of
Is this with the dreads?
Yeah,
this
I had dreads, but I remember
right?
they did this really glossy LA photo session with all these glossy pictures.
Yeah.
And the assistant accidentally opened up the camera briefly with the film still in the camera.
Yeah.
And the main photographer just cussed him out, and he said, you ruined the role. I just blah, blah, blah. And, you know, photo sessions back then were expensive.
Of course.
Photo sessions back then were the cost of the entire production of what albums
You're
are
like
today.
a French photographer. Oui,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he was German actually, so it came out sounding like a Nazi.
Okay.
And the whole photo session probably cost like $100,000. Like people don't even make albums for $100,000 right
No,
now.
that's chump change.
So we get the proofs back, and I'm looking at all of these pictures from this really expensive photo session.
Yeah.
But then there's this one picture that's grainy and gritty, and it looks like it got messed up, and I'm like, that's dope. What is that one? And that was the exposure that he.
So you went with
That was like the one that he messed up.
And
so,
yes, and people got yelled at for it.
Yeah,
It was this
that-
one
that
right
was-
here.
that was that one.
Yeah, it was. So
Yeah.
this
Well,
is
you know what?
good.
I'm gonna buy this damn.
I was gonna
Benet.
buy it. I
Oh,
mean,
shoot,
you know.
I dropped it. Wait, let me do that again for the camera.
And you just hit, yeah.
Wait,
do it
move
again.
out the way. They gotta
Do it
see
again
this.
and get it right. I want to see it.
Look at that.
Okay. Oh.
This guy. Hey, my brother. Well, look at this guy. Look who shows. Did you know I'd be here?
No, I didn't.
So this cat right here is my brother.
Hey, how you
And
doing, man?
you know, hey man, good seeing you.
Yeah.
So we just happen to be. We come to a record store. What does that say about how much music means to this family? My brother just happens to show up
Yeah,
in Claremont
Oh my
in
goodness.
a damn record store.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. This is
my new
David,
single.
by the way.
I was trying to pitch my new single. He told me I couldn't sing. So we just ended up hanging out.
With, man? You got your own group, or?
Yeah, it's just me. You want to hear a little something?
You don't
I'm
want
gonna get
to
it for
hear
you.
any.
Nights like this, I wish raindrops would.
Why don't you
See how I
why
did
don't you
that?
give up the singing career right now? He got. Look at them Versace's, man.
He said I got the Versace
Hey,
on.
right here, get this shot.
Yep, bring it in. Bring it in.
This is a new documentary.
New documentary.
for Snoop. For Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg, what's up, Snoop Dogg?
Hey, so much drama in the LBC.
Hey, put me in this, put me in this.
It's kind of hard being
Yeah.
Snoop D-O-double-G.
But
What's your name, man?
Yusuf, bro.
Yusuf.
Yeah.
All right, man.
I like it,
Yeah,
man. Doing good, doing good. Where'd you get those Versace's?
Storage.
Okay, see? He didn't want to say. He didn't want to say. He didn't want to reveal it.
All right,
Okay.
bro. My dad really loved this soap operas, like Days of Our Lives and things.
Really?
My dad was a cop.
Was he?
Yeah, my dad was
I never would have guessed
a
that.
policeman and a detective
In Milwaukee?
for the city of Milwaukee,
Oh my goodness, how did he do that?
with a lot of closed up emotion.
A lot of rage.
Yeah, with
Is
a
how he
lot of internalized rage.
A lot of rage. That's why I was watching soap operas.
Yeah.
Let me get this rage out.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Are we ever gonna come together as a society?
I certainly hope so.
It's tough, right? Maybe.
I think it would. I think what's the point if we don't believe that it's possible?
Right. You have to, right? I'm waving. See, that's my wave there.
That's your.
That's my wave. That's my southern wave.
Your
That's
southern
how
wave?
I do it like that right there.
Oh, you got this one.
I bow the head a little bit. Is that Is that the Compton? That's a Compton way of something. I don't know where they do that, but
LBC.
okay.
Been hanging out with Snoop.
You've been hanging out with Snoop, man. He's influencing you.
Snoop is
That's
dope.
the thing. Yeah?
Snoop is.
How's he really hanging out with him?
I've been working with him on this traveling play,
Yeah.
and
Wait. I gotta rewind that. Did you just say a traveling play, with Snoop?
a traveling play with Snoop, an urban play with Snoop.
Mr. So Much Drama in the LBC. Y'all
It's
doing a
kinda
traveling
hard being Snoop D.O. double G.
I want to confess, this may be stolen.
Okay, well,
We'll just see what happens.
then I am completely getting the hell out of this car right now.
You're in it now.
Stay tuned for future episodes of Conscious. You never know who we're gonna pick up. You never know. Jerry, are you watching? Jerry Seinfeld, we're coming for you. I'm just kidding. Stay tuned.
I know you think people are going to be interested in this, but they're not.
These are truth sayer socks.
Yes, they are.
You know,
Yeah,
I like
There's
that.
a lot of this going on.
I would take those.
Well, this sucks.
Look at that. This
Dealing with me. I think we should both buy some socks because you've been barefoot for a long
dealing
time.
with me must be fun.
You've been barefoot a long time.
I've been barefoot.
Don't act like you didn't hear me. You've
I
been
know. I
barefoot for
tried
a long
to
time.
like just glaze over
I'm
that.
gonna get you some socks, man. I'm getting some. I'm gonna get some too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some socks.
Let's
But
see what socks.
You've been.
I fucking love it out here. Okay,
That's kind of true.
I gave a fuck once.
Okay.
Looking good for Jesus. That's dope.
Where's that at? Where'd
Right
you see
here.
that?
Looking good for Jesus.